Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome President, CEO, and co-founder of NVIDIA, Jen-Hsun Huang. 各位来宾，请以热烈的掌声欢迎英伟达总裁、首席执行官兼联合创始人黄仁勋先生。
上海你好，大家欢迎。Welcome to the second NGF, NVIDIA Gaming Festival. This is a celebration of PC gaming and a celebration of gamers. This is one very unique event. Over the next several days, 6,000 gamers, 20 developers from around the world, China and the United States and around the world, NVIDIA partners that create all of the great gear for PC gaming, and pro gamers are going to be all together to celebrate gaming together. The pro gamers, 150 of them, have been competing over the last 2 months. 50 of them are here today. And over the course of the next 2 days, they're going to compete to see who is going to be the champion. Before we go on, let me introduce you to some of the best gamers in the world. And some of these gamers, they know it, they're the best gamers in the world. One of my favorite names, Xigua. Welcome Xigua to the stage. For all of you who don't know what Xigua means watermelon in Chinese. Xigua ni hao. Okay, next, Moon. And MVP. MVP, Moon, and Xigua. These three are some of the gamers that are going to be competing over the next couple of days to see who is the champion. Give them a round of applause. Thank you for coming. Okay, thank you guys. All right, we have a great show for you today. I want to do three things today. First of all, of course, I want to kick off NGF and celebrate gaming here in China. The second thing I want to do is we're going to share with you some never-before-seen footages and real games with the developers that we're working very closely together. Never before seen action. And the third, I have a couple of surprises for you. So let's get started. PC gaming is really vibrant in China. Okay, while they're setting it up, PC gaming in China is really vibrant. There's estimated 180 million gamers here in China. Some of the most popular games are created here in China. For example, Crossfire, 2 million active players. Dungeons and Fighters, over 1 million active players. QQ Speed QQ, over 1 million active players. And there's so many great games that are still coming. Age of Wushu, Passion Leads Army, so many fantastic games. Well, to show you one of the most advanced games that has ever been created here in China, the first truly DX11 title, I would like to introduce the Vice President of Giant to show you for the very first time PLA, this game that is the most advanced game that we've been working on together. Gu Kai, 你在哪里? Please welcome aboard the Vice President of Giant, Gu Kai. Welcome. We've been friends a very long time. Yeah. Let's show them what we've been working on together. Okay, so why don't we start the footage? Why don't we start your game, the game now, and then you can talk about it as we're running it. Okay. Okay? All right, please run the game, please. So, Gukai. Okay. So this is the first time that anyone has ever seen Passion Leads Army outside of the laboratories.
Of course.
This
It's
is the most advanced DX11 game ever created here in China.
Yes.
So what we're looking at here is cobblestone streets. Instead of just texture maps, now with DX11 tessellation, you can see the geometry of the cobblestones. Right?
We're working very closely with NVIDIA engineers to create this beautiful benchmark. And for the very first time, we're showing, instead of a modern combat background, we are introducing the historical view of this product to the world.
Now this is a real city.
Yeah,
This is actually
it will be
real historic.
in the game.
The cobblestone roads, the rich geometry in the city, the leaves that are flowing and physics simulated.
Yes.
This is the most aggressive use of physics simulation inside a game that has ever been done.
And all the explosions.
Now tell us about the story of PLA.
PLA is actually is known as the first China's military game. But this time, we're introducing this historical World War II view into the game to the players.
So you could, of course, have combat and gameplay, but you're also learning about history at the same time.
Of course.
Yeah. The physics simulation, the destruction is just completely amazing.
And it will look even better in 3D vision. You guys can check it out over there. There's a 3D vision glasses for you guys.
So this is already in 3D, using 3D vision.
Yes.
That's terrific. Gukai, thank you very much, and congratulate your team. Thank you very much. Well, to run games like that, and as Gukai and his team over at Giant continue to develop DX11 titles, the amount of horsepower that's necessary to really enjoy these games continue to increase. We're trying to simulate a really beautiful world while making the games amazingly vibrant and active. In order to do so, we have to make sure that we create the world's most advanced GPUs. We're dedicated at NVIDIA to bring the best GPUs to all the gamers around the world. We want to be your gear of choice every time you go to battle. We want to be your weapon of choice. Just a month ago, we introduced GeForce GTX 680. It is based upon, that's right, it's based upon a brand new architecture called Kepler. Kepler was named after a German scientist from the 17th century, and he was a mathematician as well as an astronomer, and he was the one that formulated the 3 laws of planetary movement. It is also the foundation of the work from Isaac Newton that theorizes gravitational forces. One of the things that was really important was Johann Kepler said, one of his most famous quotes, that nature uses as little as possible of everything. That nature uses as little as possible of everything. Now, what he's trying to say is that nature is ultimately efficient. And one of the guiding spirits of the Kepler GPU was to make it incredibly energy efficient. There are 3 things about the Kepler for you to remember. 1, a brand new processor architecture. There are 1,500 processor cores inside Kepler. 2, there's a new features inside, including a brand new anti-aliasing capability, adaptive VSync, so that you can have the benefits of constant frame rate as well as no jittering. And 3rd, GPU boost, which is basically automatic overclocking. And the 3rd thing, and one of the most important things about Kepler, is energy efficiency. It is 3 times as energy efficient as our previous generation GTX 580. And in fact, the best way to show that is running the latest generation demo from Epic called Samaritan. 1 year ago, we demonstrated Samaritan running at 30 frames per second with 3 GTX 580s. 3 GTX 580s consuming 730 watts now can run on one GTX 680 consuming only 195 watts at the same frame rate. In just 1 year's time with Kepler, we've been able to improve our energy efficiency and performance by a factor of 3. Let me show you now Samaritan running on one GTX 680. You're looking at incredible geometry detail. This is one of the first games that is set at the nighttime so that you can have the film effect. All of the surfaces are wet, so we have to use wet shaders, showing you the simulation of the wet surfaces, reflections, blurry reflections, as well as shadows on those reflections. Using DX11 tessellation, we're able to morph the geometry of the character's surface, simulate accurately the cloth, simulate hair. And you can notice also the beautiful image processing for lens effects. Is that incredible, guys? With one GTX 680, we're going to be able to enjoy games like this in the near future. Well, as you can see, the Chinese video game marketplace is vibrant. The innovation of game developers continue as they continue to absorb the technology that we create in our GPUs so that they can imagine and realize beautiful new worlds. As wonderful as the PC industry is and the PC gaming market is vibrant, it is also incredibly complicated. The PC market, for example, is the only market where the platform has a range of performances from a laptop with a GPU all the way to a three-way SLI enthusiast PC. That range of technology, because we continue to drive technology forward, gives the PC the vibrancy of amazing technology. However, it also comes with it mind-numbing complexity for developers. A range of 50 times from a basic notebook with a GPU, a GeForce, all the way to an enthusiast laptop. So how does a game developer create games that can possibly scale to the range of PCs while allowing you to enjoy the games and enjoy it in a way that your PC is capable? The situation is incredibly daunting. There are tens of CPUs, there are tens of GPUs, there are multiple resolutions, there are multiple operating systems, Windows XP, Windows 7, Windows 8 coming out, and there's an incredible number of drivers. When you look at the total complexity that a developer has to consider for PC gaming, we're looking at hundreds of thousands of different configurations. And that's one of the reasons why PC games gives you all of those various settings. The settings allow you to customize your game experience so that you can take advantage of the entire PC that you've spent so much money to buy. Now, these settings comes with it better experience and a scalable experience for different users. However, it also is incredibly complicated for the end user. There are so many different things to consider. Different lighting models, different shadowing models, all kinds of different anti-aliasing capabilities. All of these technologies are really exciting for gamers on the one hand. It's also complicated for the gamers on the other hand. So there's many many configurations of PCs. Each game has many configuration settings, and there are hundreds of games, and they're coming out all the time. It's one of the reasons why we love PC gaming so much. In combination, we're looking at billions of combinations. In order for a gamer to fully configure each game to be perfect for their PC, just imagine the number of configurations that they have to go through. Billions of combinations. And in fact, our research shows that in fact most gamers simply don't have the ability or the patience to configure each one of the games specifically for their PC. That 4 out of 5 gamers simply don't adjust the quality settings that are possible in their games. Well, today, we would like to introduce you to the first surprise, something that you probably haven't thought of us creating. This is a project that has been a very, very fun project of mine for the last 5 years. A very, very dedicated group of engineers at NVIDIA has been working for 5 years now to create what I'm about to tell you about. Today, I'd like to introduce you to GeForce Experience. Let me tell you what GeForce Experience is. There are 2 components to GeForce Experience. First, we recognize that your PCs are now connected to the cloud. We now have a Geforce Supercomputer with a vast array of different configurations of GPUs, CPUs, motherboards, operating systems, driver builds, and every game that we can imagine that is coming out. We literally use this data center and this supercomputer to methodically search the perfect setting for each GPU, CPU, motherboard, operating system driver configuration. The second component of GeForce Experience is a console, a piece of software, a user interface that sits on each one of your PCs. This console will connect to the cloud and upload the latest driver optimized for that game and the latest settings that the data center, the supercomputer, has discovered for you. It automatically loads it so that when you finally load your game, the settings is automatically perfect. It is the best setting for your GPU. It is the best setting for the laptop that you have. It is the best setting for the PC that you own. It allows you to enjoy the game at its fullest. GeForce Experience, as you can imagine, the data center, the search algorithms, the connection to your PC, and the console that incorporates all of these optimal playable settings was an enormous undertaking for our company. Let me show it to you. So for example, this is a game that has just look at the current settings, the default settings. The default settings are just simply daunting. All these different defaults: item fade, object detail fade, radial blur quality, reflect land, specular fade, distant object detail. All of these different configurations allows the gamer to set their PC to be perfect for Skyrim. But the search for every single PC setting must be nearly impossible. With GeForce Experience, because it's connected to this data center and these supercomputers, we automatically give you the optimal settings. As you can see, the optimal settings are very different than the default settings. This is set for a GTX 450. Let me show it to you. So this is the default experience, about 25 frames per second on a GTX 450. And this is what it looks like optimized. It runs faster. It has more detail, more shrubbery, more bushes than the default setting. The wonderful thing is you could set this default setting without ever thinking about it. You simply click Optimize My PC. Here's another example. This is Aliens versus Predators. This is optimized again for GTX 450. The interesting thing here is that instead of turning on SSAO and shadow quality, GeForce Experience traded that in favor of higher resolution textures, turning on tessellation, and turning on isotropic filtering. It chose a different set of settings than the default settings that came out. And notice these options are incredibly technical for an average gamer. By simply clicking Optimize, this is what you get. This is what it was before, Alien versus Predator, default setting, running on a GTX 450. It's not bad, 47 frames per second. However, by simply clicking Optimize and using GeForce Experience, you get much, much more beautiful textures, and it runs even faster. With GeForce Experience, we can now help the gamer, every gamer, all 180 million of them, whether they understand computer graphics or not, to enjoy video games at its fullest.